Calisthenics is built on spectacle, where strength, balance and control flow together into motion. Skills like the planche, the lever and the handstand look effortless, the kind of holds that make people stop mid-scroll. But behind that stillness lies years of precise conditioning. Not just building muscle, but building connection. Every joint, tendon and stabilizer links into one current of tension, guided by the nervous system's ability to organize and control force. What most people never see is the quiet system underneath. The small muscles firing in sequence to keep joints centered, motion clean and transitions seamless. This is neuromechanical isolation, the process of teaching your nervous system to recruit stabilizers independently within the complexity of full body movement. It's not about training small muscles in isolation, but about refining coordination, improving how each muscle communicates and times its activation within a global pattern. Isolation drills expand your motor unit vocabulary. They increase the diversity of fibers your brain can call upon and improve both intra- and intermuscular coordination, the precision with which tension travels through a chain. When this control is sharp, movement becomes efficient. Muscles no longer fight each other, they cooperate. Joints stay centered, what's known as joint centration, allowing force to transfer safely and effectively through the structure. Over time, isolation work builds motor control bandwidth, the nervous system's capacity to fine-tune tension in smaller increments. Instead of simply turning muscles on or off, you gain access to the entire range between. The subtle levels of activation that keep a planche steady or a lever still. This is movement literacy, learning how force travels through your body before adding load, complexity or skill. Isolation isn't bodybuilding fluff, it's calibration. It's the practice of teaching your system precision before power, connection before output. And that's what gives calisthenics its defining quality, the ability to make control look effortless. Isolation only works when it's deliberate, not thrown in for variety, but used as a structural method to build balance, refine control and strengthen the body from its foundation. It's not an accessory, it's part of the system. In practice, isolation fits around your compound work the way precision fits around power. The big movements, your pulls, presses and skill work come first, when the nervous system is most alert and coordination is sharp. Then, as fatigue sets in, the smaller stabilizers begin to reveal themselves. The subtle shifts, the scapula that moves a little slower, the shoulder that rises first. That's your signal to isolate, when control is challenged, but awareness is still high enough to correct it. There is one exception, pre-activation. Sometimes isolation comes first, not for fatigue, but for alignment. A few controlled external rotations before pressing or scapular slides before pulling can prime the right sequence of activation, reminding the nervous system which stabilizers need to fire first. It's not about tiring the muscle, it's about improving signal clarity. Programming isolation is about ratios, not randomness. For most athletes, 15 to 25% of total training volume should focus on isolation, enough to build structural integrity without slowing recovery. Beginners can lean higher, developing body awareness and basic coordination. Advanced athletes often use isolation in cycles, 4 to 8 weeks, targeting one kinetic chain, shoulders, elbows, hips or grip, refining weak links while keeping the system balanced. The variables that define isolation are intensity and tempo, because they dictate the purpose of adaptation. For strength, keep the work short and deliberate. 4 to 8 reps, long eccentrics or static holds of 5 to 10 seconds. This teaches the nervous system to recruit high-threshold motor units, the deep, high-force fibers responsible for stability under load. For hypertrophy and density, maintain unbroken tension for 8 to 20 reps, focusing on controlled movement through full range. This builds structural tissue, the muscle's capacity to sustain alignment and distribute load evenly. For endurance and joint integrity, slow everything down. 45 to 90 seconds of continuous tension, breathing through fatigue without losing position. These slow isometrics condition the connective tissue, teaching tendons and fascia to bear force gradually and safely. Each tempo trains a different layer of the system: neural precision, muscular capacity and connective resilience. Together, they create a complete system, one that not only produces force but organizes it efficiently. Progression in isolation isn't about adding load, it's about refining control. Adjust leverage, expand range, slow tempo. Every micro adjustment forces the nervous system to adapt with greater precision. A smoother rep, a steadier hold, a more balanced contraction. These are the metrics that matter. They tell you that tension is flowing cleanly, that stabilizers are finally coordinating with movers. And this is where feedback closes the loop. You can't fix what you can't see, and you can't strengthen what you can't feel. Filming your movements from multiple angles, front, side and overhead, reveals how your system behaves under pressure. Don't just watch for shape, watch for timing. Which side initiates first? Which side hesitates? Does one shoulder drift, one hip rotate, one elbow lock faster than the other? Those small discrepancies are coordinates, your body showing you where isolation belongs. Then, take the assessment inward. If you can't cautiously engage a muscle, it's not part of your working system. Before adding weight, isolate control. Find the contraction, hold it, and feel it stabilize. That's neural mapping, retrieving the communication between your brain and muscle, so that each link in the chain fires in the right moment. Every movement in calisthenics is a chain reaction. Tension traveling through joints, fascia and muscle groups in precise rhythm. The body doesn't move in parts, it moves in sequences. When one link fails, the rest compensate. Isolation rebuilds that balance, teaching each region to carry its role so the whole system works in sync. The pulling chain powers your rows, levers and pull-ups. Most athletes rely heavily on the lats, masking weaknesses in the smaller stabilizers. The rear delts, lower traps, rhomboids and biceps. These are the anchors that center the scapula and align the humerus during pull-based skills. When they lack, shoulders roll forward, elbows flare and tension leaks from the mid-back. Restoring control means rebuilding the sequence, scapular depression and retraction before elbow flexion, and elbow tracking before wrist alignment. Ring curls, face pulls, Y raises and slow scapular pulls sharpen this timing. Think of it as reverse engineering your lever. Every rep teaches your nervous system to share tension across the full posterior chain, not just dump it into the strongest muscle. Your pushing chain drives planches, dips and handstands, and it's only as stable as the structure behind it. Weak serratus, triceps or lateral delts shift load onto the shoulder capsule, leading to internal rotation and chronic irritation under fatigue. The scapula is the foundation. It must glide and rotate with precision, allowing the humerus to press without grinding. Isolation here focuses on dynamic scapular stability, training the serratus and lower traps to protract, rotate and elevate in coordination with the triceps and pecs. Banded press downs, ring triceps extensions and scapular push-ups restore that rhythm. When these stabilizers fire first, pressing becomes efficient. Force travels cleanly through the arms instead of scattering at the shoulders. The shoulder is a floating joint. It relies on muscle timing rather than bone structure for stability. The rotator cuff and scapular stabilizers are responsible for joint centration, keeping the humeral head perfectly aligned in its socket as large muscles move it. When these muscles are late to fire, even by milliseconds, the humeral head drifts, compressing tissue and bleeding power. Precision isolation, banded rotations, isometric abductions or loaded end range holds restores that firing order. These drills aren't just about strengthening small muscles, they are about restoring micro timing. A stable cuff allows the delts to generate more force safely. It's control that scales strength. The core isn't just about flexion or compression, it's about resisting unwanted movement. It's the stabilizing hub through which every force passes, linking upper and lower kinetic chains. When the deep stabilizers fail to coordinate, energy leaks as rotation, sway or tilt. Anti-rotation and hollow body training teach the nervous system to maintain midline integrity under pressure. Pull-off presses, hanging leg raises and slow L-sit holds engage deep layers that traditional ab work misses. Focus on maintaining diaphragmic breathing through tension. This improves intra-abdominal pressure, creating a 360-degree brace that stabilizes the spine without rigidity. When your core can stabilize dynamically, transitions become seamless. Presses stack cleanly, levers stay steady and balance feels effortless. Even in calisthenics, the lower body dictates structure. Weak glutes or hamstrings alter pelvic tilt and spinal alignment, distorting the foundation for upper body control. The hips are the origin of kinetic flow. If they are unstable, everything above compensates. Isolation for the lower chain focuses on hip extension and stability. Glute bridges, single leg Romanian deadlifts and Nordic curls restore the posterior chain stability to anchor the pelvis. Calf and tibialis work ensures the base, the feet and ankles stay reactive and strong. Every time you balance on your hands, you are expressing force that begins in your legs. Ground strength, even inverted, still flows upward. Control ends where contact begins, your hands. The forearms and grip bridge the nervous system to the environment. Weak or fatigued forearms cause the wrists to collapse, breaking the kinetic chain and wasting tension. Isolation here means endurance and precision. Towel hangs, wrist curls and finger extensions train the flexors and extensors symmetrically, while slow wrist rotations improve joint centration and proprioception. The goal isn't to grip harder, but to sustain alignment under stress. In advanced calisthenics, planches, levers, presses, grip endurance often defines the ceiling. When your wrists stay neutral and tension holds, your entire system remains stable. Regional isolation turns anatomy into awareness. Every muscle you isolate becomes a signal. Every rep refines the language your body uses to communicate force. That's how you stop fighting your own body and start using it as a single intelligent system.